Home Life. It's Home Plus Life Podcast.
Have we got alcohol in this? No? No, I'm going to drive. Sorry.
If that's over the top of
That's
it.
over the top. That's over the top. That's always the way. That's fine. But she's a real estate agent. She's allowed to drink, day drink. I mean,
not drink and drive, though.
Not drink and
No.
drive. No one's allowed to drink and drive. But if you're not day drinking as a real estate agent, are you a real estate agent?
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. That would
Just a little
explain as to why she was
Yep.
hoping that there was some alcohol.
Alcohol in this.
So of course, who we're talking about here is the wonderful Narelle Cordaro, and she's here with her partner in crime, I guess you'd call him. He's the guy that makes her look really, really good, which is Paul Cundell.
Media
Media,
guru.
yeah.
Call me.
Yeah.
My name changes.
Makes
day to
our
day.
life easier because we get to
Yep.
work with high quality media when we're doing social media stuff for Narelle. So it just makes it easier. So
Thank you, sir.
welcome, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Welcome.
Yeah, welcome.
So we figured we'd do this episode and ask Narelle you a whole bunch of questions, Paul you a whole bunch of questions. In fact, it's probably going to be spread out over a couple of episodes.
Yeah, that's great.
And because, our new little podcast studio is quite little, we figured we'd move everything up onto the balcony, enjoy the greenery, some fresh air, bit of breeze, the lawn mowing happening in the background, and have a bit of fun.
Yep, let's
got
do
cookies.
Good old Queensland
You
weather
got
for everyone in the
cookies.
southern states. This is
You got
what you got to look
cookies.
forward to.
No food allowed in the podcast studio, but on the balcony, hey, it's free
it. Yeah,
reign.
it's
No,
free range.
yeah.
We can do
Yeah.
whatever we want
So-
to a certain degree.
To a certain degree. Narelle, something you and I have worked together now for,
A few years.
yeah,
2017. I know this.
yeah,
Is
it's
it that long?
Yep.
7 years. Crikey, you've put up with me for 7 years. You poor
I've
thing.
made it bearable
Yeah.
for a lot of
Yeah, I
other
think
people.
you have. I think you have.
It was a bit hard when you weren't on the
Yeah,
scene.
yeah.
Yeah. Look, I didn't call back or respond to emails for weeks on end. Well, look, one of the things, though, that stood out for me for the last 7 years
Yep.
is you excel in customer service more than just about any other agent that I've seen, especially being that you are a smaller office
Yeah.
in that you're the lead agent. You've got a couple of people supporting you,
Yes.
but there's not a team of agents under you or anything like that.
No.
You and I had a conversation, I would say about 2.5 years ago, where you said, look, I don't want to do 1,000 properties a year. I want to do 100 properties a year, but I want to do every single one correctly. So if I can't do 100 properties a year, but I can do, say, 70 and get it right every single time, then I'm happy.
That's right.
And it's that focus on that customer service and that client first approach that has always impressed me and has stood out. What are the core tenets to your philosophy of looking after a client, given that you're the devil in this scenario? If we go to a current affair in the media, you're the big evil real estate
That's
agent,
right.
right? Because
I'm the nasty one.
you're the nasty one
That are driving up the prices.
that are driving up the price. We'll come to that. We'll ask her. But obviously,
How did that happen?
yeah, your clients don't see you that way,
No.
right? Like, and one of the concepts that Sian and I talk about a lot is there's a big difference between a real estate agent and a human being who's licensed to sell houses, and you absolutely fall into that latter category. But what is it that are those core tenets in customer service and client care that make you so different to the real estate agent?
Basically, I'm going, what are they? I just treat people like humans. I just go in there and I talk to them. I get to know them. I spend time with them. Sometimes I go, oh, that was a bit long. But I get to know, I guess, what makes them tick and what's driving them on to their next dream, whether it's their downsizing, upsizing. And then we talk, and mine's all about supporting my clients. So making sure that they've got the house presented the right way and they feel confident in doing that, whether we bring in staff or they've got their own staff. And then we go out and we get the marketing has to be top notch. In all from COVID through to now, my marketing packages never waver. So the good thing, and there is proof there that most of my properties are seen 4 times more than any property with the same attributes in the area.
Yep.
Due to the marketing, which is where Paul comes in. But really, I guess, and it's also the after service. Like this morning we were driving here and there's a client that the property's done. They're an older couple, they don't understand IT, and they rung me and go, oh, we need this. And I go, well, you would have it. It'd be in your emails and this is what you look, oh, okay. Is that all I needed? But then they go and talk to other people and say that they're supported and they're looked after. another one, and he's about to write a testimonial, old fella, lovely couple they were, is that he, at COVID times, I went and knocked on all the elderly's door in the neighbourhood and said, look, if you need anything, give me a call, I'll go get it. But also, too, he's had a tragedy recently, and, I was sitting there with him, holding his hand as this was going, and his wife was in hospital. So you picked him up, take him to the hospital to do that sort of stuff. I can name another client. Unfortunately, the husband was in hospital, and I took her up. They wanted to sell the house, and she said, and I said to her, look, I've got time, don't worry about it. I'll sit outside for half an hour, whatever time you want to spend with your husband, because she was only seeing him on weekends. Yeah. And unfortunately, he passed away a week later. Yeah. So it's getting to know the essence of the client, and then understanding and letting them know that I'm really there for them, and I'm there to support them, to a certain point, and to help them to achieve their goals. Yeah. I mean, for most of them, it's their biggest asset. So.
Oh, absolutely.
No, none of what you've just said, well, actually, that's not entirely true. Like, at the beginning, you talked about the marketing and selling the property, correct? But the vast majority of what you've said actually has nothing to do with real estate. No. It's got to do with being a human.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's...
Who'd have thought that being a good human means that you can help do your job?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, but no, look, I just treat people like I would want to be treated. One of the reasons I got into real estate, because I come from high-end corporate, and got out of corporate sales, but got out of that. And one of the reasons I chose real estate, what I was watching was going on in my area anyway, is a lot of the people were coming in and just going, oh, yeah, we're not going to help you to achieve the highest price. We're literally going to put the property on the market as it is, move. And I'm going, well, if they'd done this, and this, we could have actually sold that for $100,000 more.
That's a volume philosophy, isn't it? That's that churn and burn. Like, get the listing, pump out, get it out. We know, and particularly, I know in Southeast Queensland, but there's been markets like this in Melbourne over the last 10 years and Sydney over the last 10 years. There's a market like this happening in Perth right now. Even Adelaide had sort of shades of a market like this for the first time in my memory over the last few years as well. And that attitude that let's just get in, list the property, get whatever price we can for it and move on to the next one, that kind of turn and burn, it's a very volume kind of mentality that is, I don't want to say, it's not, mercenary is not the right word, it's more mechanical, isn't it?
Yeah, it's about the
get
number.
Get it into the machine. If we put it in the machine will spit out cash at the other end.
It's about the number, not the person.
Yeah.
And I'm about the person. Yes, the number matters, don't get me wrong, for that person, but I'm about that person.
Yeah.
That's what I'm there for.
And that is one thing that Paul does do quite remarkably as well, is portraying who Narelle is, so that people can see it on socials.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have the same philosophy, and that is, if you're on social or on media, what you guys do, that the best way to connect with people is to bring that real out, right?
Yeah.
It's that authentic approach. It's showing Narelle who she is, and building that rapport with the client before they even actually call her. And then, Narelle is just such a real person. You can't get her to fake anything anyway. She just does Narelle, right? And you capture that. And
she
I think
swears at times when she shouldn't.
Yeah, she does. And
the blooper reels are funny.
They are funny. Oh, yeah. I've got plenty more of that actually stacked up in the archives. But it's all that really cool, quirky stuff that, Narelle does in the background. And, when she talks about customers and being, treating them like real people, I've done now probably a couple of dozen, if not probably up to 30-odd testimonials now, where I sit down and interview them one-on-one. Narelle goes for a walk, so she's not in the room, so we keep it as realistic as possible. Yeah. And I just ask them questions. If I say I'm the nosy neighbour, I just want to know what happened. So just tell me, the good and the bad, because I need to know. And they go. Yeah. And the common thing from every single testimonial is that you can feel that they want to stay in contact with Narelle afterwards.
Yeah. You got a friend.
Has a friend.
Look, actually, if there's real estate agents listening into this, one of the biggest things, like I just spoke at the National Association of Realtors REACH Genesis event for 2024. So the REACH program in Australia, it's an accelerator program for technology companies that are connected in some way, shape or form to real estate.
Oh, yeah.
And it's huge, right? Like it's all about, this year they've got some incredible companies. They've got a company that does tailored suits using the app, you take a couple of photos of yourself, and it uses AI in the app to actually work out your measurements and then tailor a suit to you, right?
Wow.
Which, of course, is real estate, but it's also every business. They've got fintech stuff. They've got a company that is actually about to, the data sets in the AI and the algorithms they're using, they're actually going to be able to start predicting what your property is going to be worth in 3 months, 6 months, and so forth. So there's a whole lot of stuff. And one of the big things that I teach to real estate agents, prop techs, and everyone that'll listen from a business point of view is it's no longer like about transactional value. That one transaction, yes, it might be a nice transaction, but where the real value and the real profit, if you will, is if we can talk dirty words on a podcast that's more about, we're talking to homeowners here, but it's in lifetime value. The lifetime value of a client. And the only way to truly achieve lifetime value is actually to genuinely invest in that client and create that partnership, that symbiotic relationship where they are getting as much out of you as you are out of them, if not more so. One of my favorite quotes from a book is The Science of Getting Rich by Wallace D. Wattles, written 100 years ago. And it reads, give every man more in use value than you take from him in cash value. And I think that's a critical philosophy. But that's something that you're building. And I know that you didn't necessarily set out in the beginning to build that. You just did you.
Yes.
But you've got clients for life.
Of course, yeah. I'll have people who ring me 5 years later, or their daughter, we saw you sold our daughter's house, and now it's our turn, and they will. They'll come back to me time and time again. They may warn that they'll never buy from me, and I try not to be insulted by that.
Well, that means that you're doing your job, isn't it?
That's right.
Yeah,
Yes.
the agent you buy from, if you're getting a good deal when you're buying, is not the agent you want to sell with.
No,
Yeah.
no,
Yeah.
that's right.
Truly
And
representing the owner.
yeah. At the moment, I'm about to list a property, and literally, I think I counted 5 houses. It's a new estate in this one street. I have actually sold their previous house. And so these people who didn't know me, they were all walking up the street and they were talking, oh, yeah, we're thinking about listing. And every one of their neighbours said, well, the only agent you go to is this lady. So it was quite funny.
So
She's dominating the area.
Yeah,
Street by
already.
street by street, just playing it like a military campaign. We're going to just take it,
Yeah, one at a
move the
time.
front lines. Let's put our homeowner hat on.
Yep.
Okay. Homeowners now, even the state government website for Queensland, I haven't checked the other state governments, but I imagine it's probably the same. State, interview at least 3 agents.
Yes.
Okay. A homeowner's going to sell and purchase about 7 times throughout their home ownership lifespan. Okay. Which means essentially at bare minimum, they're going to be doing 21 different interviews of agents.
Correct.
Right, over that time. What are the things? So let's say you're now the homeowner.
Yep.
Knowing what you now know, you've retired from real estate, hypothetically speaking, and you're now selling your home, and you don't want to do it yourself, because you know the emotional connection and all that sort of stuff. It's better to get someone else.
Because you just don't want to do it.
What are the things? Yeah, well, there's that too. You're like, I'm retired, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm not doing this.
What are the things that you are looking for when you're interviewing those agents in order to know that you've got an agent who can perform at the level that you can perform at?
Probably the fact that they know the area, and if they don't know the area, they've at least done their research. So when I go in and talk to people, it's not just about, oh, here's a piece of paper, this is what's going on in your area. I actually go into quite in-depth about, my notes are in-depth, that this had this is what can impact your property and the property sale. Treat you as an individual and as a person, not just a number, I guess, is what I would look for. And their willingness to really go over and above to work for you. And it's not, this is terrible to say, and this is nothing against anyone out there, certainly, but it's not that whole BS sales tactics that you see, and where they really are over the top. And that...
Where they promise the world.
Yeah, they promise the world, and they can't
deliver a footpath.
I've never heard it like that, but yeah.
What was that?
That they promise the world and deliver a footpath.
Wow. Wow, I like that.
Yep.
Thank you, I just thought of it.
That's customer service in a nutshell.
Oh,
Yeah.
Over-promising and under-delivering
yeah,
will
absolutely.
strip you of any
Yeah.
clients.
Yeah.
But under-promising and over-delivering will always gain you
Yep.
clients.
But the challenge is, of course, under promising can often lose you the deal. So you've got to find that fine
yeah.
line. So, again, you've got your seller hat on. How do you know when they're over-promising?
Well, do a bit of research. Just have a look at what else is sold in the area. Look at what, what other properties are selling. What are the differences between your property and those other properties? Have a look at those algorithms where they say, your property is worth this online. Even with when they've AI and they might predict these prices, there's always going to be a human element involved because AI can't predict everything.
AI can't predict human emotion.
Yeah,
No,
that's what I was about to say.
And it's about presenting your property the right way to as many buyers as you can. Certainly being able to do that. And as with my seller hat on, I guess for me it's I always let them know, look, I will be there from woe to go. I'm certainly not the cheapest, but I'm far from the dearest. And I also know that my strategy works. It's very different to anyone else in the area that I work. And my marketing package is certainly far better than anyone else, but I won't waver from that because I know what it does. It gets people's best price.
Because it works.
Oh, yeah, it works. And
You've got proof of that.
I had one recently. Paul was involved in it. We had a client. I was actually referred by a friend, and the husband wasn't well, and she'd been through 3 other agents, literally, and they.
I remember you telling me about this.
Done nothing. 3 other agents, 10 months, nothing.
Yeah.
Couldn't sell the place. They couldn't get an offer. I came in and we worked on. Okay, well, let's work on the presentation and how your property looks first. And there's a little bit of resistance sometimes on that. What I've got to work. Well, prior preparation prevents poor performance, they do say. And
say that 5 times fast while drinking.
I've heard you say that numerous times.
You know where I got it from.
But yeah, and then we worked on it. We worked on the presentation of the property. We went in, we did the marketing. The marketing was very different.
Yeah.
1 open home, 30 groups, 5 offers, done.
Yeah.
And after 10 months.
Yeah, but to top it off, what was the feedback you got? Was they saw this online and they come back the second time and saw what you did and went, wow, this is a different home to what I saw.
Yeah.
It's worth a look now.
Yeah.
It's worth coming in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think they said, one of the buyers said to me, the difference was, number one, I met them at the door and said, hi, I'm Narelle, welcome, whatever. You've got to take their details. And then, I always walk around where I can and ask if they've got any questions, etc.
Yeah.
But they did say, last time they were there, they said there's no way I would have been able to get my wife in here to even look at this place. You showed us the potential and the possibility of the property where before it was disgusting, and then the agent just stood at the door and just twiddled his thumbs. So
yeah, right. There's 2 things you've touched on there. One, I'm going to throw to you, and then I'm going to throw to Paul. You talked about that presentation.
Yep.
Run me through what you're looking for. Again, with your seller hat on, you're sitting in this appraisal, right? The agent's in front of you. They're doing their big pitch, and they get to presentation. What are the things about presentation? What are the green flags, if you will, when they're talking about it that make you go, you know what? This person's able to actually get me the best possible price.
Yeah, but they're prepared to give you advice. They're not fearful to give you advice on presentation. And they have some avenues, whether it's a whole team. Like I have a whole team, tradies, you name it, that back me up. And Paul forms part of that team. But definitely it's got to appeal to as many buyers. But if they're just going, oh, look, you don't have to do anything. And some houses, I've never struck one house that's been like that. There are even small tweaks to, if it's a Hampton-style home, you want to really sell the Hampton-style look. And maybe the owners don't have some of that stuff, or they haven't quite got to that level.
So what do you do when they don't have that stuff?
Look, there are occasions I've been known to raid my own house and pull curtains down and weird stuff like that in my time to get people the best price. Or I actually have someone who will come in and give them professional advice on how to present their home. And then they go out and they purchase those things. And look, if they're moving, particularly if they're moving to another house, the things they're buying, they're going to keep anyway.
Yeah.
You know, and we talk about decluttering, etc., where some of the properties that you see that go up online, there's dirty dishes, beds aren't made. The first thing that says to a buyer, I'm telling you right now, lawn isn't mowed, is the owner doesn't care. So if the owner doesn't care, I'm not going to care about the type of offer I put in.
Yeah.
Bang, we're done.
Yeah. We're such a visual speech. I know we always hear growing up, never judge a book by its cover, don't be judgmental, that sort of stuff. But internally, we're all judgmental.
Well, yeah, I mean,
It's a survival thing.
It's
believe
a
it or not.
survival thing. It absolutely is.
a lot of it. That's why empty houses take longer to sell than houses that are furnished, because people can come in, they literally cannot visualise. Or there's very few of them can visualise. Yep, my bed will fit there, and I've got a queen size bed and it'll fit. And I've proven it where I've had a property. We had queen size beds in 2 rooms, both the same size. This young fella, his parents had bought some furniture to put some furniture in to help him with the staging. They needed it second week in, so they took that out. And the amount of buyers that went, oh, but that room's smaller. The empty room was smaller. And I go, no, it's not. And I had to tape measure to prove the point. But people can't. You've got to help them to realise that dream, or start the dream for them if the house needs a bit of work, and then where they can take it and what scope they can take it to.
Okay. I like that. Paul, I'm going to throw to you now because you're obviously heavily embedded in Narelle's marketing process. Yep. And the man behind the scenes for a lot of the visual appearance of what gets put out online. If you're that seller, so putting that seller hat on again, and you're facing that pitch from an agent, what are the key things that you're looking to hear or looking to see from them that are going to tell you, hey, I know this agent has actually got half a chance of getting me the best possible price?
Well, the first thing I'll be looking at is, are they going to take the lazy... It always happens.
Can't take you anywhere.
Oh my God.
As soon as we take the attention off you...
That's it. It's back to Narelle.
Oh, I can't believe I did that. I said before.
I know you
I
did.
my phone.
I know you did.
Did you
That's
turn
a
your
blooper
watch?
right there,
Yeah,
by the
that's
way.
exactly right.
Yeah.
Did you actually turn your watch off? Because you were telling me a story that you hadn't turned your watch off.
That's turned off, right? I'm
No,
sure
I can
that's
still
turned
see
off.
the screen.
Yeah, but no, it's not turned off. It's on silent. Oh my God, how embarrassing.
There'll be a take 2.
So back to you,
yeah,
Paul.
yes.
Yeah.
So-
Let's talk to the marketing expert about marketing without
Lovely.
interruption. Thanks, Narelle.
And wait for the next one? No. Okay. So, look, I mean, if I was interviewing an agent, I guess the thing I'll be looking, are they taking the lazy approach? Is it like, oh, yeah, we'll sell this, it'll be this quick and done. Do I need to do anything?
What's
No,
the
you'll
lazy
be fine.
approach? Let's look at that. I guess one of the big things that we should probably do before we actually know what we want, let's figure out what we don't want.
Yep.
So what is the lazy approach?
I think that the lazy approach is they just assume that what I have on offer is going to appeal to everyone.
Right.
Okay, so helping create a home there's something that I sort of say to myself. I will be asking them, are they going to sell my house while I'm in living mode or moving mode? If I'm in living mode, then my house is suited for me, not everyone, right? So I have to be in moving mode. My house has to look the right way. It has to be prepared to appeal to a greater audience, right? The one thing I would be looking at is, are we marketing to just the left side of the brain or the right side of the brain? This is getting technical now. So are you the analytical person? Do you just want to see the place and the numbers? Or do you want to see, can I be there? Am I emotionally attached to this home?
Do you want the spreadsheet or do you want the dream?
Exactly. So they have to appeal to both sides. So I would be looking and interviewing them on how they would be perceiving my home and how they would want to market that. And I would be asking the right questions to sort of see which path they're going to go down.
What are the key? Because that's true, and coming from a marketing background, I'm an analytical seller.
Yep.
I'm left brain. Give me the data. Let me collate the data that makes, and then I will take that data and turn it into an indisputable argument, right? And so that when I present it, I'll present it with a story that highlights that data and also captures the emotion. How are you looking with a house where the data may not necessarily be as readily available as, say, a spreadsheet, coming back to our previous sort of metaphor? How are you looking to sell both the dream and capture the emotion as well as the left brain, data, logical, making this make sense?
Okay, so quite simply, you're just including enough in the marketing that when you're flicking through a listing, you see what you want to see and say Sian sees what she wants to see in the same package. So, for example, you would look at just the room shots. You would be looking at the floor plan, dimensions. You would be looking at Google Maps, areas. That's the technical side of the brain that you would probably be looking at when you're purchasing. But you might go, oh, I love how they set up that room. That's a nice creative shot of that.
Or
I've
get
got
a
some
load of that
ideas there.
stove in that kitchen.
Right, exactly. Okay, so you might not be so much about the floor plan,
Yeah.
but about where can I fit things and would my stuff go there, and I can put my I can finally get that chair out of storage and put in that corner and have a reading corner because they've set it up so beautifully. I might even ask them, can I buy their stuff? And that happens a lot as well. Like you're selling a position of where you're going to settle in the home, relaxation. It's a very emotional side. So that may be you when you're looking.
Yeah.
So as long as you're putting that in marketing, analytical and emotional, and you can put it all together in one package where they can just know what they're getting into, they're going to want to inquire about it.
Yeah.
That's what the deep-rooted sort of sense of marketing is just making sure that you've got a greater audience. So when you're throwing out numbers and you want the numbers to come in, the open home numbers that Narelle gets, she's not just getting one small group, she's getting many small groups combined. Then she has some competition, and competition will get a sale.
And I can actually vouch for that, because one of the properties that you've got currently that had been listed, I think, last week or the week before, you were showing the local park.
Yes.
And then it also showed the house, like where it was situated. But then you had also spoken about all of the new things that are actually going to be happening within the community, and not just like you did showcase the property as well to go, you know, it's a stunning property, like get a load of this. So you in that itself, you are showing here's the data stuff, here's the 15 minutes that it's away from this and this.
Yep.
But then
the
look
dream.
at
Here's the lifestyle.
Look at how
This is
pretty
what you're
it
gonna be
is.
part of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's funny you say that. Again, you know, it's just a picture of a park. But to me, when I'm looking through the camera, I'm trying to market that location.
Yeah.
Right. There's two different types of people here. Right. You might go, wow, that park is really close. My kids are at a certain age; they can run off and play by themselves. Emotional. You'll be going, is that a safety risk? Right. So you know, you have.
I feel really
remember
seen and
falling.
also attacked at the same time right now.
But you know what I mean? Like, but if the park wasn't there,
Yeah.
the photos didn't dictate where it was in locale, then you're not going to have the information to make a decision.
Yeah, that's right.
And if you're not going to turn up to the open home, you're never going to know that exists anyway.
yeah.
So you've got to communicate that to get them through the open home.
Absolutely.
And the numbers on this, like I speak to agents around the country every single week, and what I found really, really interesting is I could be talking to agents who are literally a 20-minute drive away from you, Narelle, and they're telling me that they're lucky if they're getting one or two groups through an open home, and then I'm talking to you and you're going, JH, I can't talk right now. I've got my 30th group walking through.
Yep.
You know, and these properties aren't all that different, right? It's not that you're selling properties that everybody wants and they're selling properties that nobody wants, because they're almost identical properties in a lot of regards,
Yep.
right?
Yep.
And the locations have as much merit. It's about how you're communicating that
How you're
to the
presenting
market
it.
and how you're presenting it, because you're telling that story to the market in a far more effective way. You know, if you ever get
Remember
bought a
that-
real
those
estate, you
clients
could
that we
become a
had-
coach.
Had in the middle of COVID that they had interviewed 8 agents. Remember that testimonial?
Yep.
8 agents. Every other agent had said to them, "Nah, don't do anything. It'll sell it in 2 days. Don't worry, it's fine." And I came in and went, "No, we have to play with this, and you know, I'll bring in my professional to tell you how to present it." It took them a week, I think, to get everything done. And literally they got an extra 130,000. Oof. And yet everyone else had said to them,
What,
"Nah,
what,
it'll be
did,
fine,
what did it
it'll be
cost
fine."
them? What did it cost them to do those extra things?
A bit of time and $3,000.
That's my kind of ROI.
I
Like,
think it's
that's-
anyone's kind of ROI.
Like I aim for that level of ROI in my marketing on socials and things like that. That's
Well, I think the other thing too is that when you're buying and selling a house, like you're investing in your future.
yeah. Oh yeah.
So whatever you've put into it, you want to make sure that you're making money on it. That's essentially what investors do, is they put money into something and they want to see a return, which is ROI. So, you know, if you're going to be spending $3,000, I would say that's a bloody good $3,000 spent.
Yep. Oh, yeah. No, and they did speak about that in their testimonial.
Yeah.
They were really quite good about.
I think I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Actually, that's not just one case.
No,
Like,
it's not.
The amount of interviews that we've done with people, it's time and time again. So to go on the other side of the spectrum there, I think we had a home that we did, right, where they spent something like about 20 grand. I know that sounds like a big number, but their ROI on that was almost $500,000
Yeah.
compared to what they were getting in other appraisals.
Yeah.
yeah.
So, as Paul
So
points
it does
out,
scale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But Paul pointed out in that one that had $500,000. That's literally someone's lifetime of trying to build their super.
Yeah.
Yeah.
One sale.
One sale.
Yeah.
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 One
So,
sale.
all right, there's a couple of things to jump on here. I'm going to throw to you the question that is
I'm just having a look at the time.
we're at 30 minutes.
Yeah,
We're good.
okay.
It's rounding up.
Agents are driving up property prices.
Dun, dun, dun.
You're to blame.
Yes, I am to blame. Yeah.
You're
But
going
isn't
to take
my
that.
job? Yeah,
Wow.
Isn't like you
That's
go,
not the answer I expected.
But someone buys a house.
Yep.
My mum and dad, they've been in the house for 50 years.
Yep.
Right? Yes, you're going to have your normal where it increases just because that's life. But isn't that what we're here to do? Because for most people, most Australians, not everyone, I know there's billionaires out there, but most Australians, that's their biggest investment in their entire life. That's what they've been going, blood, sweat and tears, working every day for. Then me as an agent, what right do I have to come in and go, oh, yeah, just leave it as it is and it'll sell? But isn't my job to get them the best price?
Your job is to get them the best price. But overall, are you, as agents, are they actually driving up prices? Or is it a problem that we don't have enough property for the people who want it?
No,
Because
there's definitely not enough
can,
properties.
Can you drive, let's say, because you've been doing this a while, so you've seen a buyer's market. We haven't seen a buyer's market in 10 years, right? Not since, I think 2013 was probably the end of the last buyer's market after the GFC, in earnest, right? Can you drive up that price in a buyer's market?
Yes, absolutely.
Wow.
But the other thing is you can drive the price up, but you've got to have someone to actually purchase it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just because you put that price on it doesn't mean that that's what it's going to sell for.
So the question is, are we driving the price up? Are agents driving the price up?
Yeah.
Or are the agents leaving way too much money on the table?
That's true. That's the question, because I actually had a client say to me the other day, the one recently, the horse property, and when I finished with them, apart from, I think my last comment to them before I started to work with them was, I'm here for you, remember, I'm here for you. And they said, it's the first agent that's ever said that to us, and why weren't we given all this other advice before?
See, okay, I'm going to tell you why we're actually asking
Because
this
we get
question.
the comments constantly, right? Agents are pushing up the prices. Agents are responsible for the housing crisis and
No,
the
there's
risk.
not enough houses.
Yeah. And that's
That's where he was
that's
wanting.
where I was coming at it from. Like, because I'm looking at it, I'm going, if
He's
agents
just
were in
agreed with them.
control, I'm going. So I get what you're saying, but I'm also looking at going, if an agent had that much control over the price, you'd be paying $6 million for a 3-bed, 1-bath that was falling down.
Well, yeah, true, but I mean, it's about, to a certain point. Then
Yep.
You can track certain ones, and you can see that they're actually devaluing, and then you can see others, and they're actually trying to get maximum. But you're right, there's not enough housing at the moment. I think it's 15% less listings compared to the same time last year.
Yeah.
And I didn't think I didn't think we could get any less than we did
No,
last year.
no. In fact, and last year we talked about numbers, how in certain places around the country there was 80% less listings last year at certain time, like January to January.
Well, here's something
2022.
for you. The RBA has actually come out and said that they're not going to do their usual April increase.
Yeah, no, they're on hold. So interest rates are on hold, but they have warned that the housing boom, which is still ongoing, could actually delay cuts and see increases.
I call bullshit on that. Housing boom? Where's all the houses in this boom?
They're the ones
that's-
being so. That's the prices. We're talking the prices are booming. It's not.
We don't have.
We're not building
construction.
any.
Yeah,
No.
there's
We're
not building enough.
construction
No,
of
the houses are taking up to. They'll tell you 1 year, but they're taking 2 years. They can't
Yeah.
get the tradies.
No.
Let's look and with COVID it's happened, and the price of building a house has tripled.
Yeah.
Right.
Materials have gone through the roof.
Materials are nuts. I had to replace a roof on my house, and literally, same situation. Had I done that pre-COVID, it would have cost me. I would have saved 10 grand. The scaffolding and price of scaffolding was just crazy nuts. But so you've got that ongoing, but also we don't have the tradies.
Yeah.
And also then you've got the oldies who go, I want to stay here because they're fearful. I don't want to downsize into an aged care or into an over 50s for whatever. But for most of them, they're fearful that they won't have anything to leave for their children. So why don't we just scrap the stamp duty for anyone selling a property over the 65?
Wait. We've just...
Well, can of worms.
yeah.
We can jump on that bandwagon.
Anyway, we're talking about customer service.
Yes.
I got off my little tangent. Let's
we
go
can.
somewhere else.
Yeah, that.
You've been hanging around with him for too long, haven't you?
I'll put my soapbox away. I was getting ready there, but that one, and I've had some whispers come back to me through the grapevine that are not good. That they're never going to get rid of it because it makes them too much money.
It doesn't make sense.
And that's.
But I'm saying only over 65.
Yeah.
There's I guess the biggest population are your baby boomers. So.
Yeah. I mean, that's going to start to change, and they're going to have to change policy off that just through natural remedy. But right, well, that was interesting. I mean, I get what you're saying too, in that an agent has the power to get the maximum the market's willing to pay, but they don't have the power to increase what the market's willing to pay.
No, that's
which
right.
is
It's still definitely what the market's willing to pay, without a doubt. I mean, there are still some houses that are overpriced for whatever reason.
So if you were buying, let's flip this around because we've done an episode on this and we've put our thoughts out. If you were buying a house in today's market, which houses are you looking at?
How do you mean?
Yeah.
Well, if you're going out into the market to buy and you want to buy and get value, right, and get the best possible value, which houses are you looking at and paying more attention to?
I'll let you speak. He's going, oh, no, I want to speak.
If I was to go first and I was to, I guess, talk down a more controversial road here, I wouldn't be looking at just the house. I'd be looking at who's listing it.
Yeah, I would do that. I am more of that type of person
you guys,
to go in the really deep
but hold
dive.
up. All three of you have inside information on the who's who and who's listing and how they operate and what their modus operandi is. The average person, just about to spread water everywhere there, but the average person does not have access to that information. And to do a crash course on that could take them 6 months of down a rabbit hole on the internet.
I do have to say this to you, though. I have my past jobs, right? When I was working for What If, my job was to go down rabbit holes to find the best deal that was on offer. Like, that was my job. So I apply that, and you know this. Even
I know you apply
traveling, I do that with everything.
I know you apply it, but what I'm saying is the average person doesn't have the resources all the time. So if we were to look at it, so let's say I'm
going to say something really controversial.
You don't have the skill sets.
To say that you don't have the time, this is the largest investment, like Narelle has said, in your life. To say that you don't have the time, you are the one that's going, it'll sell for what it will sell.
But regardless of inside information, I guess, and research, there is a correlation between cheaper properties going with certain people, right?
Yeah.
And the property, the way the property appears. So from a marketing perspective, if it doesn't look like $1 million, it's not worth $1 million. So don't put $1 million price tag on it.
Yeah.
Right? So then you're going to only attract a certain buyer pool that perceives the value of that home to be X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
Right? So then when those people walk in the door and put in offers, they're only going to get X, Y, Z because they've all perceived that that's the value of the home.
Yeah.
Because of how it's presented.
How it's presented.
So
now, if the agent is not attuned to the market, then they're going to let it go at X, Y, Z. So from a buyer's perspective, I could save a lot of money on it. But on the flip side, seller beware. If you have an agent that's thinking like that and is not preparing like that, then you are not going to get your...
You're leaving money on the table.
Well, I might be telling stories out of school, but recently I had a property. The owners lived down here somewhere. I don't know. And anyway, they put the property on the market. They chose me to sell it. And it was funny. They said, she rang and she goes, oh, I've chosen you. I've Googled, I've researched, and I'm hoping you are the right agent. We have been, had interesting situations prior. So I sold the house, and then the week before settlement, I had someone ring me and say, oh, what did you sell the house for? Well, you can't sort of say.
Yeah.
So, but I got having a conversation with this young man, and he had told me that he actually bought a house around the corner. I was in the office so I could reach, oh, yep, you did, that's your name. So I am talking to the right person. And he was telling me he walked in and the agent said to him, and this, right or wrong, I guess, but said to them, oh, the sellers are in trouble, just offer whatever you want. And they offered 20 grand less, and they got it for 30 grand less because when come building a pest, they said, well, we're going to be cheeky because we've already been told that they're in a desperate situation, so we're going to reduce it by another 10 grand, and they got it. And then I sold practically the exact same property, half a K up the road, for another 100 grand more.
Wow. Great for the buyer.
Yeah, it is.
I would be pretty pissed as the seller.
Well,
if I found
given
that.
that sort of gives you that sort of agent.
Yeah.
That's like, I'm no lawyer, but you know, the fiduciary duty part of an agent's obligation, that feels like it may not have been met there. Though I suppose the argument could be made that the fiduciary obligation meant that they had to get the property sold as fast as possible to help them get out of trouble. Maybe that's how.
But even if you sell houses that have been repossessed by banks, they make it very clear you are not to discuss that issue with the buyer.
No.
Yeah.
And it happens so often. You're going, oh.
Well, and I think from memory, look, it's been a minute since I did my license, but you are not allowed to discuss anything like that unless you have written permission from the owner.
Correct.
Well, quite honestly, like, it's a bit rude. You've got two people knowing about, and 9 times out of 10, it is a financial situation. And people are discussing literally airing your own dirty laundry as a way of taking advantage of you.
Well, getting a quick sale, potentially.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that's at least definitely how it can be interpreted.
Yeah.
Regardless of whether that's the motivation or not, that's how it looks from the outside looking in.
But to answer your question, what type of house would I buy? An older house.
An older house.
Older house. I'd never buy a new build.
Yeah.
You just can't trust the construction these days. I've seen houses that are 5 years old that literally the frames are coming away. I saw a house recently. They were building it, and this is over $1 million house, and literally the framework sat in the weather because the buyer who was buying it was in Victoria and hadn't come up to see it in build process. It took a year and a half longer than what it should have, but the framework was sitting in the weather, and they never covered it, and you could literally see it twisting. And then when they not when they moved in, prior to them moving in, they had a building and pest, and there was mould inside every wall. Every wall.
Oh, we're not familiar with that process, are we?
Where an older house, it's been around a lot longer.
Yeah.
Plus also too, depending on if it's had work done or not. If not, well then you'll be able to profit out of that if you've got that vision.
I mean, we started talking about customer service, but it feels like it's a step-by-step guide for how to avoid every landmine in the game.
Well, that's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing. Like, I mean, it's critically, like, it ties into customer service, right? It's vitally important because at the end of the day, the agent's job is to guide you through that.
Narelle is
But I
doing
think
Narelle things and being
but
honest.
I think the last 10, 15 minutes is probably also a fantastic argument as to why to hire a buyer's agent if you're buying a property.
Protect yourself.
I've seen some of those that have been interesting as well.
She's got stories.
Yeah.
Look, I'm not saying that there's I'm the best, because I'm certainly not the best, but and that other people are out there. They all have their job to do, and they all choose to do it their way. I just choose to do mine a different way. I didn't work in a big agency where it's this and you must say this and you must do this and you must tick that box. I just sort of came in for sales and went, okay, well,
Yeah.
I want to help people out because I can see they're being ripped off. Was my motivation at the time.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was going to say. It comes down to the agent's motivation. Like, are you motivated to look after that client from A to Z and do everything you possibly can for them, or are you just motivated to have another number on the board? Like, they're very, very different outcomes.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And one's a long-term outcome, one's often a short-term outcome.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I've watched, back when I was an agent and I was working as an agent, there was a particular brand a couple of suburbs over from us, and they were well known. They were based in one sort of major area, and they were well known for going into a suburb and just absolute blanket carpet bombing that suburb with their marketing and everything like that, get as many listings as they could, and they would burn people. And those people would then never ever hire them again. They'd talk about it and talk about the terrible experience. And as soon as they stopped getting any sort of momentum or traction and were getting doors slammed in their face, they'd move to the next suburb over. And they'd rotate like this. And they'd been doing it for 10 years because it'd take a year or two to get to the point of burning enough people that, the whole suburb would shut them out. But they'd come back around 10 years later and enough people had
Fresh blood.
moved and there was fresh blood and that, so they could start all over again, right? In time, it's now been, 10 plus years since I sold a property. But I drove past their office the other day and I don't think they're doing too well because they haven't refreshed the signs in about 10 years and the paint's running and I'm not even sure there's anyone in there anymore. But, there is that kind of churn and burn model, if you will, and then there is that client focus model. And I think that if you look at the best operators going around, and I'm talking like the top tier, we talk about 5% of the industry makes 90% of the money, right? And if you look at those guys, even if they started out as a high volume model initially, every single one of them transforms to a client focus, right? And ends up providing as much service to the client as they can, because somewhere along the way they either go through that journey where they learn, hey, client for life is the best thing for my business and the best thing for the client, so it's win-win, or they end up sort of capping out at a certain level and never go past it. And so they never grow.
Well, I mean, that was obvious in 2020. There was so many people that flooded the real estate market as getting their licenses and everything like that. And then once, things slowed down and people started...
hard. They dropped away.
Yeah, they dropped like flies. Where it was just like, well, it's not as easy as what I thought it was to be a real estate agent.
Yeah.
Because it's not just about, going and putting a for sale sign in front of someone's house. It's, getting
There's
to
a
know.
lot more, There's a lot more that goes into it. We work really hard.
Yeah.
And we bust our backsides.
Yeah.
To make sure that we can, and every agent does, to make sure that we can, help the client.
Yeah.
Just some people have a different motivation.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's probably a good ending point on client
I think so.
service. We'll hit the outro button.